Hey,
Hello.
Sarah.
Hi, Shayna. Ready to do this? Welcome to Women of Intent.
Woo! Women with intent.
Yes,
I'm happy to
ma'am.
be here.
Yes. All right. So, my name is Sarah Talou. This is
Shayna Meddy.
okay. Big purr. And this is Women of Intent. This is our podcast that we created, and we are all about what, Shayna?
We are about empowering women, talking about real life issues, sometimes even some that might be embarrassing or things that we may want to shy away from. It's all about putting it on this platform and creating a community.
Okay, definitely. And so I think when we were talking about the podcast, you said something to the equivalent of filling up our cup and having it overflowing so that we can pour into others.
Definitely. Pretty much in a nutshell, to further explain that, is a lot of times, personally for myself, I was pouring into others. I just was depleting something that wasn't even full to begin with. And me starting this new journey, which we will get into later, I just really want to create an environment where women can come to the forefront, learn and build on themselves, and understand that they may not have all the capabilities towards things, but for them to get a better understanding of who they are, how they can work on those things to then
Yes,
get
ma'am.
a cup that overflows.
Yes. So we are all about that. We want to have interesting women come on our podcast, and we're going to speak about anything from just the woman's journey, going through their different successes, their downfalls, the battles that they go through. We're going to go talk to people who have different types of jobs, interesting jobs. Not everybody's a doctor, lawyer, and a teacher, you know? So women who are breaking those barriers, that's some interesting things that we want to go over as well.
And also, too, we're going to add in that we are Caribbean. So
Yes, bullet.
I am Bajan and Haitian, so sapase.
Straight Jamaican.
And pretty much in a nutshell, just kind of also too, just exploring that we are new imports from New York.
Yes, that moved to
So
Georgia.
that moved to Georgia. So just kind of like how we're transitioning, how do we feel about it? Gonna give you guys some insight into that too.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so just to lightly start this off, how are you feeling?
How am I feeling? Um, I am making some huge decisions right now in my life,
Mm,
but I know that it's for the better.
yes, ma'am.
And I understand that I am gonna make it through whatever is thrown my way because God is on my side. So that's how I'm
For
feeling.
real. I feel like moving to the South, you have no choice but to get closer to God. Truly.
It might be a southern thing, who knows? Because they do, but praise Jesus. So, but they say
Yeah.
bless your heart,
Bless your heart.
but they're not trying to say something nice though.
That's
But
not a good thing.
yeah,
I
exactly. It's
learned
not a
that.
good thing.
That's not a good thing. Okay. So,
How are you feeling?
how am I feeling? I'm feeling so excited, honestly. I've been looking forward to this all week.
Oh, okay.
Uh, I feel like an audio engineer. I feel like a TV host. I feel like everything. I feel very excited.
Awesome.
Okay, so just to like go over something that happened this past week, the Super Bowl.
Okay.
But it didn't feel like the Super Bowl. It felt like Rihanna's concert.
Okay.
But I wanted to know from your perspective, because I don't know, are you a Rihanna fan?
I do like Rihanna. Yeah, I do.
Do you?
So, with any celebrity, I'm never like over. Like, I don't go crazy for the concerts. I actually have never been to a concert. I know it's shocking.
Wild.
Yeah, yeah,
We have to
wild.
change that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely gonna try some new things in my life going forward. But I like her. I like her music. I like kind of what she stands for. She has her own style.
Hmm.
So I definitely feel she's not cookie cutter, and that makes me like her.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's what attracts a lot of people to Rihanna. Also, she's Caribbean too.
I mean, Beijing. Hey, on the low, my
Yeah.
cousin. I'm joking,
No, but
but
for real though, which is like awesome.
oh god.
So for the Rihanna concert,
Okay.
that's what I want to call it,
Yeah.
because I like the only reason why I knew who won is because it was on social media, right? I thought it was really good, but a lot of people said that she was low energy. A lot of people said that it wasn't all that. And my thing was, since when was Rihanna like a breakdancer?
Mhm.
She
Mhm.
never really gave
Mhm.
1, 2, 3, N.
Right. Right. So I'm gonna be honest here.
Okay.
I didn't see it live. I saw it on Instagram.
Did you see clips of the whole thing?
I saw clips.
Dang
I
it.
know it. I saw
Shayna.
clips. But what I will say about it is that people fail to understand. Number one, she I think didn't perform for 7 years. So I
Yeah.
think that I got that correct.
Mhm.
She was pregnant. I mean,
There was that. There
th-
was that.
that factor for me of her being so high
Mm.
up and
Mhm.
possibly even putting her life, her child life at risk.
Right.
So I'm gonna be the auntie here. That's what I do.
No.
Um, pretty much in a nutshell, I thought that was amazing. And I know when you're pregnant and you have a big basketball in front of you,
Never experienced it.
you may not want to be able to do everything under the sun. And I think a lot of people just always have something negative to say because that's just what people do. They're negative.
That's true. I agree with that. Yeah, because I didn't agree with the whole what everybody was saying and da 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 da. I thought she looked great. People were talking about the color that she was wearing. It was red. So what? Somebody told me that the red and the white signified like the red was her ovaries and the white was sperm.
I think people think too much into things. That's what I think, but all is well.
Okay. So all in all, Rihanna's awesome. We're big fans. So we're gonna get straight into the topic that I wanted to talk about. This is gonna be our first topic of our podcast, and that is children. But not just children, specifically women who do not want children.
Gotcha.
There's
Okay.
like a whole thing on TikTok and on social media in
Oh,
general about women who are choosing not to have kids. And people or women are going so far as to sterilize themselves
wow.
and to literally take their ovaries out. So if you don't know what sterilization is, it's basically an operation to permanently prevent pregnancy. Fallopian tubes are blocked and sealed to prevent the eggs from reaching the sperm and becoming fertilized. And especially with the overturn of Roe versus Wade, there has been like an uptick of women doing that.
Mm.
So I wanted to know, as a woman who has children,
Okay.
what is your thoughts and opinions about this whole movement of women not having children, not wanting children ever? Like women in their 40s, like, no, I
Mhm.
don't want them. I'm not going to have them. Women in
Right.
their 50s, 60s, good.
Right. So, I want to start off by saying I think it is a personal choice.
Hmm.
Definitely children, they are highlights, but they definitely change your life.
Yeah.
And everybody parents differently. For me, I am very consumed with my children. I kind of base my life around them and
Yeah.
what's good for them. I am happy to be a mother. I am happy to know that I have these little people that I care for and that they're gonna continue on even after me and continue generations to come.
Hmm.
So I think it's a personal choice. I also believe that what's going on in the world where women are not going to have the right to have abortions if they want to
Yeah.
are key factors that we need to go a little deeper because some people are not right for parenting. You have to have patience. You have to be can't be selfish. You have to be able to really make sure that you put those kids first, and everybody can't do that.
I think you hit it on the nose with some people aren't right for parenting.
Mhm.
And a reason why I really wanted to bring this up is because people are mad. Like people are really upset about the fact that there are these women who do not want kids or choosing not to have kids and are capable of having it, and they're taking it almost personal. But
Mhm.
to that, I want to say, and you can piggyback off of it. I feel like a lot of people who are parents don't need to be parents because they're
Right.
bad at it.
Right. Right. So I would say, kind of just to piggyback off the first half of what you said regarding, so when you're a woman, kind of sometimes you feel birthright is to have children.
Hmm.
And some women have fertility problems.
Hmm.
And it hurts them because they want this nothing more than the world. They thought they were born to be here to bear children, and they can't. And it might infuriate them that, somebody who is able to produce that is choosing not to do it. It's just kind of like in life, you always want something that you don't have.
Right.
And I know that if I had to swallow that pill, I know that I could not have children because of this natural elements. It would possibly could make me feel lesser than a woman. I'm not saying it's right,
Mm.
but everyone has their own thought process regarding it, and that's why like this is a touchy situation. So I want to make sure that I'm
Yeah.
not trying to offend anybody out there or tell you that my thought is right, but it's just my honest opinion regarding it's a personal thing. And some of us like me, I knew I wanted to be a mother, and I'm happy that I am a mother, but it's a lot of work.
Yeah, and it looks like a lot of work, and I feel like you do it very well.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I
We
appreciate that.
love we love the cousins. I don't know why I want to call them nieces and nephews.
I
They're
know. I
not
know.
my
Well, you
nieces and
might feel you
nephews.
because you're on the lower auntie too.
Okay.
You're slowly going into the auntie bridge.
Okay. So I'm 21 forever. No, but I feel that exact same way. And I think that people who take it so personally about the fact that people don't want kids, I think it's something wrong with them. It feels like social conditioning, like that whole American dream thing of
Mhm.
white picket fence, the
Mhm.
kids, the house, da 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 da. And some people do want that, and then some people that are like me who are like, cool, just living in a condo, and I just want a pet.
Right. Right.
I just want a little doggy
Yeah. No. No.
or
I.
a cat.
Well, that would be your child's. I think that you can decide.
I do want a kid eventually, but I always knew that I didn't want to have a kid in my 20s. Like I always knew that I wanted to be like 30, and that's when I feel like my brain would be fully developed and I'll be able to like say, okay, maybe now it's time for a family.
Honestly, if I could go back and do things differently, I would definitely have done that. I was younger when I had mine.
Mm,
First child, I was actually 24, just to put it out
which
there.
is
And
wild.
yeah, if I made a 20-year-old, 4-year-old now, I would be like, no, don't have a kid. Just because like I was a responsible parent. I really did a lot of things correct. I mean, I always put her first.
Mm.
But looking back, I think early 30s, I would say 32, 33 is like an ideal time to have kids because you're got everything out of your system that you needed to, and or hopefully you did, and then now you're really just maybe more driven with your career. You're able to provide for this child in a different way, so you could give them emotional and physical support rather than just giving them one off.
I think that that's ideal for me too. Like I feel like at 33, 32, hopefully around that age, I'm like way more established, heavier in what I want to do and like and enjoy, and money has doubled, tripled, and it's just like, okay, sure.
Yeah.
Not saying that if that doesn't happen then it's like I'm a failure or whatever, but I feel like that's what I want my 30s to be about. My 20s, I just always knew that my 20s I was going to be figuring things out and just making all the mistakes in the world because I want that. I just saw that for myself. And then my 30s is just when I want to be,
Life
yeah,
lessons, so therefore you can reflect and then guide these children
exactly.
through life basically. So yeah,
Exactly.
that's nothing wrong with that.
Okay, so there are some things that I wanted to also touch on in combination to women being single, right?
Okay.
So, a study was also released that single women are most likely the ones that are owners of houses,
Okay.
have their own properties,
Okay.
are like really established in their careers.
Okay.
So, and let me find it because I want to make sure. So, this is an LA Times, I think, article.
Okay.
No, Lending Tree. So it says while US women earn 83.1 cents to every dollar a man makes, according to the US Bureau of Labor Statistics, single women own more homes than single men. So, I want you to guess which state has the highest single woman home ownershipness.
Atlanta.
You would think, I would think, but no.
Where?
Louisiana,
Okay.
New Orleans.
Mm.
Okay. So in Louisiana,
FYI, men, go down there. Who's looking for a woman?
right? Like that's where they're, well, in here too, Atlanta, that too.
Mm.
But in Louisiana, yeah, that's the highest share of homes owned by single women. Next is North Dakota and South Dakota. Um, those are the only states that have single men with the highest ownership of a home.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
So, what is that telling us?
So it's like a choice, and it's really like so. Give you a little bit of backstory for me. I pretty much in a nutshell was a mother. Is a mother, sorry, and was trying to build a career, and it's like, and also to find time for self, and it's so hard because I had to try to balance them all, but you can't because you're human.
Mhm.
And no matter what you do, you're gonna neglect something. And that's why, kind of like picking it back up our first conversation regarding being established would already allow you to not have to be maybe so career driven
Yeah.
because you already kind of know what you're doing. You would be in that place. Therefore, for you to, you know, then get a partner who has the same life goals as you.
Mhm.
So therefore, when the children do come along, it's not so uprooting. It's more like them just understanding that was a part of the whole picture
Right.
instead of feeling neglected, because that's another conversation. But men can feel neglected when children come along.
Mm.
Yeah, they can.
So, if you could do it all again, how would you piece? Would you change anything?
Definitely, like I said, I would definitely enjoy my 20s.
Mhm.
Have my get my partying out, get my traveling out, really just, be career driven. Don't feel like I'm neglecting my daughter. I felt like I neglected her because I was being career driven when I was younger. So
Mm.
I wouldn't have to choose. I could have been a mom, like to JR. I was able to be more
A
there
child.
for him. Yes, my child, sorry, my nugget. um I was able to be there for him a different way, and that allowed me to really see a difference in my parenting style. Um, and just overall, I would say like I would have fun in my young 20s. In my early 30s, I would like late early 20s. I would get married. Early 30s, have children. So you
Mhm.
do want some years with your husband with no kids there because
Mm.
that allows you to build a deeper relationship and a deeper bond. And then when you guys are both ready, because you have to both be ready,
Yeah.
then insert children. And then from there, the outlook is just like we want to raise these kids.
What do you feel about people who like let's say they get together,
Hmm.
they're I don't know, married to whatever that unionship is, and then they decide to have children and like move state to state to state. Do you think that's healthy?
Well, I know a lot of like navies,
Mhm.
like army.
Not Navy, not veterans. I'm talking about people who just want to just travel and just do random stuff with their kids. Do you
I,
think that's healthy or should you stay stable?
honestly, it's up to the family. I really think it's the core because
Mm.
when the more that I like further my thought process regarding parenting,
Mhm.
it's so important that the core is strong because even if two parents choose to do that and everybody understands their role, but not that it's like you clean, I cook, or you make the money and I do this, but really a role of like whatever this household needs to function,
Mm.
to make it us work and for us to succeed. When you have those two people, you can do anything. And I really believe when two people put their mind together and instead of this whole gender role crap
Whew,
and really
that's a
get,
whole nother
yeah, 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 like,
ugh. It's bad out there. Like the
yeah.
whole gender role and masculine, feminine, what a woman's supposed to do. I feel like
Or even what a man is supposed to do, to be honest
what a
with you.
man's supposed to do, and they're trying to change that in ways that it's just like obscene to me. It's like there's no such thing as chivalry. There's no such thing as romance. There's no such thing. It's just like
Mhm.
fairy tales don't exist, right? So I feel like for me, if I did have kids, I think I would either raise them in the city so that they can experience life hard
Okay.
and grow up like really I don't know. I just like that idea of having kids just exposed to everything all together all at once, just like the movie. Or I don't see me living in a suburb,
Okay. So it's funny because you come from the suburbs.
which is
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
So I could kind of give you a little bit best of both worlds because I think I had best of both worlds.
Yeah.
I'm originally from Brooklyn.
Okay.
Luckily, yep. Hey, Flatbush for life.
Wow.
Um, but pretty much in a nutshell, I lived in Brooklyn. We had a great apartment. It was super safe, but my mom wasn't the type of mom that allowed me to go out. Like if you wanted to play, feel free to play in her living room. Was like her take towards
Wow.
things. So I had cousins who lived in Queens, who lived in Long Island. They went to the Catholic school. For me, I love that inner city because I have street smarts.
Mhm.
I'm able to, like assess situations, understand when there's danger, which I feel like sometimes Queens girls or Long Island mainly, sorry. Um, the Long Island girls don't come for me. But pretty much in a nutshell that they may not like things will go over their head because they just weren't exposed to it.
Oh, wow.
And like my kids, let's just say we moved to Georgia. We are in the suburbs. I think it's important to parenting
Mhm.
and that I make sure that my daughter has best of both worlds. So I don't really think you have to put them in the city to put them through hardships. I think what you just need to do is make sure that they understand like a thought process that they should have.
Mhm.
Because
Okay.
nowhere, anywhere you go, there's going to be challenges.
That's a fact. Just to get back to the thing about Long Island girls.
Oh
See, here's
gosh,
the thing.
you see, I gotta be careful. I gotta be careful with this one.
No, you know what? I feel there's just so much stigma about people who do live on the island that we are just like la di da and do do do. And it's so crazy because we look to people in Queens and Brooklyn and we're like, oh my gosh, y'all are lit. Y'all are so much fun. That's where we go to like.
We know we a vibe.
But we do love having our own backyards.
Exactly, exactly.
And that whole thing that I think is really all just the backyards and parks. That's really what we got going on for us. But yeah, I see that point. I see that point. What you're talking about. But I think I am gonna raise my kids like maybe like no, maybe I'll have them play on the stoops.
Right. You know what it is? Like you said, you bring them to cultured places.
Yeah,
You let them see the difference of how they live and how other people may live, and you give them try to build like empathy and consideration and let them understand how grateful and privileged they are for whatever you're able to provide for them because there's somebody on the other side
yeah.
that doesn't have that lifestyle.
Okay. So then circling back to the single women who are choosing to not have kids at all.
Okay.
For them, do you think that if you choose not to have kids, that you have to like do something in place of that? Like, if you're not gonna have kids, then you should be successful, or if you're not gonna have kids, then you should own a house. Or do you think that it's right to be like, if you're gonna choose to be selfish that way, that there has to be some type of reasoning behind it, action behind it?
Okay, so I always try to put myself to see two sides of a story. I
Mhm.
never like to just look at it in one way.
Mhm.
I think that yeah, somebody might say, "Hey, you have all that free time on your hands. What are you doing? What did you do with your life?" Right? Because like typically
Mhm.
people feel what you kind of go to college, you get your education, you meet that husband, you then have babies. Then after the woman raise the babies, and some people work, and it's just that like white picket family idea.
Mhm.
I think that let's say if you are able to not mother somebody directly,
Mhm.
be an auntie, be a friend, be someone there that someone else you can somewhat mother them, but you don't have to mother them full time.
Mm.
I think that is something to take into consideration. I am really big on giving back to people and teaching them to kind of like build our generations to come.
Mhm.
So not saying they have to do that, but
Right.
I think they could live their life, and if they made the conscious decision not to bear children, it's better that way than people hurting their children or abandoning them and then putting another angry individual in the world because they have abandonment issues.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's a real thing.
So they're
Abandonment
really not
issues.
selfish, they're selfless. Like they're actually doing
I
something
like
good.
that.
They really are
Yeah,
doing something
yeah.
good.
Because you know yourself, and it comes back to what you were saying about that self reflection in your 20s and the growth and all that kind of stuff. You know yourself so much to a point where you know what's for you, what's not for you, kind of thing.
Correct. Mhm.
So yeah, I think that's a really good way to put it. And then I think that's just really comforting to those women who don't want kids. And I think we really need to take away that stigma of what just being a human looks like and what that experience has to be. It's not for everybody. You're not meant to have the same life as everybody else. Fit in your different categories, fit in your different groups, do what's best for you.
Well, actually, that's what I kind of like about the younger generation. To be honest with
Yeah.
you, I get feel like yes, I am telling you guys my age.
Still young.
Still young, got a lot of life in me. I'm ready. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for what's to come. But pretty much in a nutshell, like I like that you guys are breaking barriers, not feeling you have to conform and do things like finish high school.
Mhm.
During my era, when I was kind of growing up, people didn't have to have an education to get far. If you worked hard at a job, you could grow within the ranks if you
Mhm.
wanted to. That has gone out the window with college and having degrees or experience to get anywhere.
Yeah.
But I like that you guys are like branching off. You guys are like saying, "Hey, I'm gonna make it my way, my world," and I respect that. To be honest with you.
Yeah. I feel like for this conversation, definitely I would want somebody's output from somebody that does not want any kids, like at all, at all. Maybe somebody who's even sterilized.
Mm.
And just to get their perception, their thought process, how they got to that moment, I think would be really interesting because, like I said, you have kids. I know that eventually I do want kids, but for somebody who decided, no, that's it, because you always have that friend that's like, nah, I don't want no kids. And then like a month later, they're pregnant, like for somebody to go that far.
I think sometimes too, what people fail to understand in life, they didn't find that right person to have kids with. Like that,
Right.
that's like a whole nother chapter where, having children is a full-time job. I think it goes on, our parents would say eternity, right? Because like
Mm,
no matter what, we are grown, but they still
I'm a
care for
child
us.
forever. But
Exactly. It could be many different factors. They didn't want them, they didn't meet the right person. There's just like so many different factors that go into it. And that's why if a person is saying that's not what they want, we should respect it. And if a person say that's what they want, we should support it. Because there's a lot. There's postpartum depression.
woo, that's a big one. Postpartum depression, not having a partner that's there to show up for you. There's the financial aspect to it. Like, there's a lot of moving factors.
There's I tell people this all the time, and I say like having children, it is a lifelong decision, and um, if you want to do it, when I mean by right, there's no wrong or right way, but for me, my thought process is when I brought my kids into this world that they will always be put first in
Mm,
any situation. They will be the center, but women have to also be careful with that because if you make your children the center and you don't continue to build with your partner,
mhm,
those children go away, they move away, and then they leave you. So
mm,
somehow women always have to be juggling multiple different things by being a great mom,
yeah,
but then still being there for their husband, but then also being there for themselves.
yeah.
And it's a lot, and sometimes people just don't want to do it because it's a lot.
I feel like we have so many things that we can talk about on this podcast. Like, there's a lot to go over. There's a lot to discuss. Being a woman is hard, but it's awesome, right?
No, definitely, definitely. Even if sometimes I say I won't mind being a guy sometimes, but
It would be so much easier. I will say that.
you know what? I really
No one would govern your body.
well, I'll this what I say. I always say like genders and people think it's hard being a woman. I think it's just being hard being a human being. It just depends on what type of human being you are, because there
Yeah.
are single guys out there, not single, they're single but they're parenting, and they're choosing to like be the primary
Mm,
caregiver of their kids.
I want to see what that looks like.
Yeah, that would be cool if we got a guy to come on
Who's a primary
who's
parent?
a primary parent,
I feel like those don't exist. I only see them
but
on
they
like
do.
I see them in movies.
Yeah,
So if you are a single man who is a primary caregiver of your children, like your children are living with you and you are not with your baby mom or like dating, like you're like single, trying to raise a family.
yeah, yeah.
I would like to meet you. You can
Well, you could be
inbox us.
dating, you just don't have the female in the household.
Not in the household, yeah.
Yeah, not in the
That's
household.
that's what, so or not, whatever. I want to meet somebody like that. I want to meet somebody who had sterilization and is like 100% behind it. I would love to meet just people with different stories that can contribute to these conversations.
Definitely.
So, if you know somebody like that, you can email us at womenwithintentpodcast@gmail.com. Share your story. If you want to be on the podcast, maybe we can like I don't know, call you in, phone a
Zoom
friend.
you in. Yeah, we could definitely zoom you in to the
We can do
situation.
something like that because I think that'll be cool.
Definitely. We're looking forward to it. Contact us.
Okay, so yeah, that's it for our first episode. I think that's pretty good.
I had a blast. I'm excited. And, guys, support, show up, and take this journey with us because trust me, I got some tea for you, honey, that you were just
We have a
going to be like,
lot of
let
tea
me just get
over
that wine
here.
and sit down because this is a good time. This is a
Next
good
time there will
time.
be wine. There will be some wine.
Yeah.
But yeah, please follow us on Instagram, follow us on TikTok, Women with Intent podcast. We are two Caribbean women living in the South, just trying to
Survive.
make a
And and
difference.
and and be great. I love that. Making a difference, be
Be
great,
great.
and just being the best version of us because that's all you could do. Be the best version of you and lead with God.
Woo. And with that being said,
Thank you.
bye.
Woo!
Okay. I think we did it.
We did a great job.
I think we did a good job too. That was really interesting, Shayna.